Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we can promise is that our conversation will be less than fascinating so that you can just feel free to drift off. I want to thank you for listening. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Hanna.
And Nidhi, this is episode 26.
It is. We made it to the end of season 2.
I know. And what's funny is season 1, if you're a new listener, is really long. We have
it's like 130 episodes or something.
So then we decided, we should do it seasonally. And since our show is 26 minutes long, 26 episodes. That way we can regroup and figure out what we want to do for season 3 and really provide the best content for our listeners. So this is our last episode. But we do have something coming up for the holiday season. We're going to have a few holiday episodes for December. And you'll hear me and Nidhi and us and some guests talk about various holiday things. It's going to be a little bit more of an exciting episode, sort of to accompany your holiday season. So look forward to those.
Marco, any favorite moments from season 2?
I did an episode with Natasha Lovato, who's a friend of mine, and we talked about mushrooming, which I think is actually, there's a better term for mushroom picking, mushroom hunting or something.
I kind of like mushrooming.
That's what we called it. Of course, every episode I do with you, we always have laughs before, sometimes during, and after. And so I love episodes with you. But those are the ones that stand out right now. Oh, and having podcasters, other fellow podcasters like Bill Antoniou,
yes,
who has 2 podcasts, Bad Gay Movies and My Criterion. Lucy DeRosa was also on our show, so that was a lot of fun too.
One of my favorite moments of season 2 was watching you deliver a speech to the Waterloo Public Library, their fundraiser. I think it was their fundraiser.
It was their fundraiser called After Hours, and I just got back. And I want to thank Anjana Kipfer, who helped reach out to me and get me to be the keynote speaker there. And I met one of our number 1 fans there. Donna Marie Pye.
Oh, Donna Marie.
Is so lovely. And she actually got Karen Coviello, who's also, everyone was lovely. Everyone on the board, I made fun of them, Nidhi. We're actually going to put the speech that I did on our Patreon page. So if anyone's interested in hearing that speech, you can go to patreon.com/The Insomnia Project. And from there, you can listen to it. I should explain what Patreon is.
Yes, we should. I mean, if you're looking for ways to support this podcast and support season 3, definitely check out the Patreon page.
And basically, you donate, let's say even $1 a month, and you get extra content. So if you'd like to take a look at some of that stuff, please go there and just look at it. We've got some great pictures of Xena having a great time with pillows.
Sleeping away.
Yeah. So if you are interested in the Waterloo Public Library, just go to wpl.ca, give them a shout, and tell them thank you for supporting podcasts. But back to Donna Marie. She's such a fan, and she gave us each a little gift.
And Marco, I didn't realize that she and Karen went to the Russian baths that we spoke about on one episode.
Nidhi, everything we say, every place we mention, we have to be careful because people go there. And so she actually said to me, she goes, it was Nidhi who recommended the Russian public baths. And I'm like, of course, I don't remember talking about it. And so then she was like, we went. And she was like, it was in a unusual sort of location.
Oh, the sketchy, you think, yes, it's the sketchiest place in the world.
And then she started to describe how, you kind of beat each other.
With the leaves.
And it was
Marco, I feel like I need to take you and Amanda there.
Is it any gender can go?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
And just beat us with leaves?
Well, I mean, that's an option that you can choose to accompany your bath experience or your sauna experience. But yeah, we should go, especially as winter is coming. It's definitely the place to be. It's very relaxing.
Well, they enjoyed it, and Good. They went to. Remember, we mentioned the Harry Potter bar.
Yes, I remember she posted about that on Instagram.
And one other place, and I can't remember. And it was like, oh my goodness, I was like, we have to be careful what we recommend because people will do it. So I exercise caution with whatever we recommend.
Well, I have to say, Donna Marie, thank you so much for these amazing cookbooks that she was so lovely to give. And did we talk about slow cooking on an episode?
We haven't.
Because I'm a big slow cooker.
I love slow cooking.
So this is amazing because Donna Marie has published, how many books did you say?
I think I think it's about 4 or 5 now. And she has a cooking school. And she was like, we're teaching people how to make biscotti tomorrow. Do you want to come? I was like, oh, I would love to, but we have to get back home.
Well, we are thrilled to be able to have 2 of her cookbooks, and we'll definitely be creating some recipes and letting folks know how they're going. And Donna Marie actually gave mine French.
So great.
I could look at the recipes in French and practice, reconnect with my French. Actually, let me read a little bit.
I bet they taste better when you cook them in French.
Probably.
Mine is 300 Slow Cooker Favorites by Donna Marie Pye.
And mine is Plat mijoté. 125 recettes actuelles à la mijoteuse électrique. I did not know that it was called mijoteuse.
You know, I'm very excited that you're going to be reading a little bit in French because we are a Canadian podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we haven't done anything really in French. And because our country is bilingual, we should at least give a nod. And I know my French is so horrible that I wouldn't dare.
I know. We should read. Okay, I'm just trying to find a good one. What's a good... I had it open and it's...
The pictures are beautiful too, I can tell you.
Pictures are amazing.
Okay, here's what I love about slow cooking. In the fall and winter,
it's the best.
There's nothing better than a slow-cooked meal in a slow cooker.
Okay, let's do this. Poulet sauce barbecue à la moutarde.
Wow.
Il y a un peu plus de 100 ans, la moutarde anglaise épicée était trop piquante pour les palais des Nord-Américains et c'est au début du XXe siècle que la moutarde préparée jaune vif a vu le jour.
Wow.
Maintenant, nous en mettons sur presque tout, des sandwichs au bretzel. Cela ajoute aussi un petit goût piquant à la sauce barbecue. Servez ce poulet avec la salade de choux crémeuse, vite fait voir, page 57, et du maïs vapeur.
Can I just tell you what I understood from that?
Yeah.
So it's a chicken recipe that involves barbecue sauce and I want to say mustard, moutarde, is that right?
Yeah.
And that you could put it into sandwiches if you wanted to. Or am I wrong?
No,
just kind of laughing.
You're good.
And it's a great meal to have with friends. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know if it's true.
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
Nidhi.
no, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. So it's basically, she was just describing kind of like the history of mustard, essentially, like English mustard. When they brought it to North America, was too spicy for the palate here. And so that's how they created yellow mustard.
I love mustard.
Mustard.
I love mustard. I love Dijon mustard. I love yellow mustard.
I love Dijon mustard.
I love mustard in things like a honey mustard. I find mustard so versatile and adds that sort of splash that you need in cooking. But
it's
sorry, I digress.
No,
Nidhi.
that's it. They were basic. And so then she's saying that now we put yellow mustard in everything, like sandwiches and... this one has a little bit more of a spicier taste because of the barbecue sauce, and you can serve it with, like a coleslaw or which is also within this book on page 457, that recipe.
I love. Okay,
corn.
Can I just say this to our listeners? I handed Nidhi this book. She hadn't seen it before. I said, "This is the gift." She opens it up. And all of a sudden starts reading in French. I don't know when the last time
It was a while ago.
And then now she's translated. She's like looking at it and simultaneously translating it. So I have to say, that's pretty cool, Nidhi. I knew you were cool to begin with. And I knew you could speak French. But to see it in action is pretty awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
Nidhi, I'm going to make recipes from my book.
Yes,
and I should read the inscription because I asked her.
Yes.
For Marco... And then she put in brackets Markle, because you might remember my episodes we've done in the past. That's what the Starbucks people write on my thing. And Amanda, happy crocking Donna Marie?
Oh, for me, she said for Nidhi and Zena.
Amazing.
Lots of crockpot fun. Bon appetit, Donna Marie.
So great.
Thank you, Donna Marie.
Like I said, I love... You know what we would do, Nidhi? On a Sunday, we would prepare crockpot recipes in a Ziploc bag. So you put all the ingredients that you would need in a crockpot in a Ziploc bag. Zip it up, put it in the freezer. We do 5 or 6 of them. And then during the week, say on a Monday, they'd be like, my wife would say, I put the crock pot on with one of our Ziploc bags. And then the next week she would do the same. And we'd have it for 6 weeks on a certain night.
Amazing.
Just one word of warning.
Okay. Don't put the Ziploc bag in the actual crock pot.
Yes, first and foremost, write on the Ziploc bag what it is.
Oh, no.
Because what will happen is you go and you're like, oh, it's vegetables and some sort of protein. I'm not sure if this is the pork dish, the chicken dish, or what. And so it's a surprise. So that's the lesson we learned from there.
Speaking of amazing fans.
Nidhi, we love it when our fans reach out. And Anna Annette Mencieri Bristol.
I think it means she's from Bristol.
Oh.
I don't know. Do you think Bristol's her last name?
And Anna Annette, you let us know. But she had said to us that she loves it when we are 2 people, and she describes us as 2 people enjoying each other's company, growing sleepy before a gentle fire, and are too comfortable to move into a bed, which I thought was a great description of our show. And I was like, I'm going to steal that, Anna. Is it cool if I mention that?
And if anyone else wants to write some marketing copy for us, please go ahead and do so.
She also said we could use her name. That's why I said her name.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would not say her name.
No, exactly.
And then she gave us ideas. And she's like, Marco, you need to slow down because sometimes you get excited, which is what Nidhi tells me all the time, Anna, so you're in good company.
We have a hand signal in the studio that I give to tell Marco to slow down. And after Anna's advice or feedback, I'm now doing that hand signal even more.
Thank you, Nidhi.
And you do it to me as well, so.
Far less, first of all. Nidhi will sometimes bring up topics that are a little bit scary or not conducive to sleeping, so I'll be like, let's get off that topic. But she's much more calm than me when we talk about exciting topics like doorknobs or picture frames.
It's because you're a very natural storyteller, and so like when you're in the middle of a story, you tend to get really it's great because you're very passionate about your stories and what you're saying, and you can definitely see that live with Marco giving his speech.
We once did a live version at a fundraiser,
Danielle
Lascalic's
fundraiser,
and she was having all these interesting cabaret performers, and we're like, I don't know if our show is going to work well at this cabaret. You have all these interesting musicians and comedians, and then we were one of the hits of the night. People just loved what we did live on stage, and no one fell asleep.
Everyone thought it was comedy. It was people were laughing
because we had a bunch of topics we thought would be mundane in a little pail, and we're like, we're going to pick someone from the audience, we're going to pull one, and we're going to talk to them. And I think algae got picked.
Oh, right.
And that person had no idea how they encountered algae in their daily lives, and we told them, and they just had a great time. But for Anna, we're going to talk about bargain thrift store shopping. Do you enjoy that?
I do. So there's a store here in Toronto or in Canada, I think, called Value Village.
Yes.
And I will go there with my friend Stuart every second Sunday or so. The thing about bargain thrift shopping is that you have to go regularly.
Yes.
Because some days you'll go and everything's just kind of, not really that great. But then you go the next time and there's all these finds. So I found some amazing, amazing things. So, you know that big red coat that I have?
Yeah, it's
the
beautiful.
Carmen Sandiego type of coat.
Love it.
It's huge. It's down to my feet. It's like this huge woolen winter coat. And I got it for $20 at Value Village. And it's a beautiful winter wool coat in this beautiful red that you're never going to find anywhere else. And then it's interesting, right? Because a bargain thrift store is on one end of the spectrum, and now you have vintage stores where it's
Right.
like they're so expensive. You can walk into one of those vintage stores and it's like $300, $400, $500 for an article of clothing.
There's an area in Toronto called Kensington Market.
Yes.
And I know that our superfan Donna Marie will go there. But there they have all these cool vintage shops and cool cafes, and much like you were saying. Let me ask you this. Are some thrift stores better than others? Like some locations, have you found that?
Yes, I think so, because I think it's really dependent on who's bringing stuff in.
Right.
And so that's why I think you need to, if you're a thrift store purchaser, you need to really be on your game in terms of going back quite often. I mean, I find that between the clothing swaps that I do with your wife
Yes.
and the group of women that we do that with, plus the thrift stores, plus like things like buns, there's really no reason to get new clothes anymore.
No.
And I think it's actually a really important, just side note, environmental thing to like
Right.
be able to reuse clothing, because I think clothing is a huge
Contributor to pollution in
yeah,
the world.
and garbage,
really.
and so now, like I'm becoming a little bit more aware of sort of, do I really need to purchase something new from a store? And there's only certain items. Like I'm always going to purchase new underwear.
Yes, fair enough. That's one item that I wouldn't
I would
necessarily
just
recommend.
never thrift store
Fair enough.
that.
Fair enough. I will say this: since you've been having these clothing swaps, I've also become much more aware of how disposable certain items of clothes can be, and I try to purchase a better quality, say, undershirt that is going to last me longer, and that way. And same with my shirts and my T-shirts. I'm trying to get to a point where I'm either purchasing better quality, so I'm not getting rid of them, or I'm trading with friends as well. I have a shirt that Trevor gave me that I love, and he's like, I don't wear it anymore. He goes, and I spent good money on it. I'm like, I'll take it. What's Stuart like when he goes thrift shopping with you? What does he look for?
Well, it's interesting. Stuart is amazing at finding things for me.
Oh, that's great.
So if we're
So
going
he's
to
like your personal shopper.
in many ways. So when we go to Value Village, if we're going together, he'll do a little search for himself, but then he also has me in mind, and it's great because he has a really great sense and eye for fashion, but also in terms of, the nice thing about thrift store shopping is that you can go outside of your comfort zone in a way that you wouldn't in a store, like a retail store
Or a boutique store.
or a boutique
yeah.
store, because if something costs $5, you might just try it and see if it works.
Sure.
That's the beauty of clothing swaps too. Is like you can push your boundaries, and I find that if you shop with the right person in those thrift stores, they might come up with ideas or articles of clothing for you that you wouldn't normally expect to have in your wardrobe. So I find that really interesting. But Marco, you buns a lot.
I buns quite a bit. And Buns is a Facebook community, and it's spelled BUNZ.
Is it an app?
It's also an app
Okay,
now.
okay.
But you might find it on Facebook, BUNZ for our American listeners. And it's an app where you can barter or trade things, not necessarily for money, but for other items. So if you have something in your home that you're done with, let's say a plant. You have a plant that's making other pups, I think they're called, when they make other plants. And you're like, oh, this one's just going a little crazy. And you take them and you separate them and you have other pots. And now you've got a house full of plants that you can't handle. You put it on Buns and say, I have a spider plant. Does anybody want it? And a person might say, oh, I would love that. Would you like a can of beer? Would you like some makeup? Would you like a plastic duck
Fork.
for your bath? Whatever. And you trade. And now it's become an app, and they have like a cryptocurrency. So you can, if I have this plant and you want this plant, and I say, I'm going to make it available for 500 Buns points. I think they're called bits. That's equivalent to $5. And you're like, great. And you come with your phone, you transfer your bits, cryptocurrency, to me, and then I have them. And now there's stores where you can use those bits to purchase things. So there's a store in Toronto, which is so great. Nidhi, I need to take you there, because do you like bagels?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Montreal bagels?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to episode, 13, where we have a debate on our styles of bagels.
Yeah.
So it's called Lox and Schmear on St. Clair, near St. Clair in Dufferin.
Yummy.
The owner, she's wonderful. And she's got, what's so great, I love this story because she's got photos of her at her bar mitzvah with her family as the artwork on the wall.
Amazing.
And you know when you take these pictures when you're 12 or 13 with your family, everyone's dressed up. It's just a time capsule. It's beautiful. Then she makes this bagel, and I get the one that's called I can't remember the name of it right now, the big one.
Okay.
Montreal style bagel, cut, cream cheese, lox, capers, sprouts, onion if you want. It's just a sliced cucumber, dill, fresh dill. It's a mountain high.
Amazing.
I think it's called the Fancy. Yeah, it's called the Fancy. I used my bits to get it. It's so wonderful. I can't even tell you.
That sounds delightful and delectable and delicious.
Can we go next
Yes.
time we record? We'll go. We'll have a sandwich there.
Perfect.
Come and record.
Perfect. I recently used my bund points at. So I haven't actually bunsed anything yet, but like on the app, there's ways to get the cryptocurrency through surveys and things like that. And I think because I got the app, I got some points from you. I got some points to start, etc. So I ended up going to Fresh City Farms on Ossington, and I got about like $40 worth of fresh groceries, organic groceries.
That's amazing.
And paid with my bund points.
You can get tattoos with it. You can get, there's a florist. You can go and get flowers or plants. It's fantastic. I just want to mention my thrift store experience.
Yes, please. Here in Toronto or somewhere else?
In Barrie, so not far from my cottage.
Okay.
So you can imagine a thrift store near cottage country. They're going to get a lot of stuff that were in people's cottages, right? That maybe the kids took over and they're like, I don't like this furniture. Let's get new furniture. I walk in there, Nitty, and I see this chair, and it's covered in cat hair. So it's a brown chair covered in white cat hair. So it doesn't look very appealing. And I'm like, oh, and it's $25. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting chair, but it looks kind of worn or whatnot. I do my rounds. I think I buy a belt or something. I drive home. The entire drive home, I'm thinking of this chair. So it's an hour and a half drive home. Mm-hmm. I go on the computer, and I'm like, I've seen this chair before. I know it. It's kind of like it's not almost like a sofa chair, if you will. I look it up, and it's an Eames chair or an Eames reproduction chair. And it says they sell for $2,000.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can't believe I didn't pick up that chair. The next morning, I couldn't sleep, Nitty. I couldn't sleep, not because of it. I had insomnia.
Really?
I just couldn't sleep thinking of this chair. I woke up at 6:30, got in my car. I'm like, I'm going to be the first one there. I get there. I see the person click open the door as if like we're open now. Open the door, beeline to the chair, pick up the chair. I'm walking to the cash. One of the employees says, I was going to buy that at the end of my shift. I take it home. I vacuum it. I put, fresh scent, whatever on it. Give it a good scrub. It was just cat hair. It looked pristine.
And how much was the chair?
$25.
What?
$25.
Do you still have it here?
You've sat in it. You've sat in that chair, Nitty. It's downstairs. It's that brown chair in the basement, the one that has this little swivel.
Yeah.
I'll take a photo of it and I'll put it on Facebook. I'll take a photo of you in it.
Perfect.
Anyway, so that's the chair, and that's the best thrift store find I've ever had.
Well, with that thrift store find and that chair, we've come to the last episode of season 2.
Thank you to our listeners, to all of you new and with us from the beginning. We can't tell you how much we appreciate sharing the fact that we have insomnia with you, and that not everything works for everyone. And we hope this podcast helps you the way it's helped us, even just cement our friendship and meet awesome people and get into the world of podcasting.
And honestly, we started doing this without any idea of the impact that it could have. And, every time we receive a letter of support or an email or feedback, it's just such a wonderful, amazing thing, because the beauty about podcasting is that even though we can see analytics on like how many people downloaded or whatever, you really don't know who's out there listening.
Yeah.
And that's the most amazing thing about it is when, recently I was talking to someone and I was like, oh yeah, I have this podcast called the Insomnia Project. And they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. And, you just don't think that that's the way it's going to be. But, this season in particular has been so wonderful and has really cemented the importance and given us like a lot of motivation to keep going. So thank you for all of the support out there that we have for the Insomnia Project and for Marco and myself.
Thank you.
And we will be back with season 3, so don't you worry. We're going to take a break for the holidays, and
we have holiday episodes coming up.
Yep, and we are also going to be recording some special content for our Patreon page as well. And we will see you in the new year.